Hi students, welcome to physics class. Today in this lecture we will discuss Gauss theorem, proof of Gauss theorem and the numerical problems based on Gauss theorem. So let's start with the Gauss theorem. According to the Gauss theorem, the surface integral of the electric field intensity over any closed hypothetical surface. The other name of this surface is a Gaussian surface. Hypothetical surfaces which is not in real, this is only an imaginary surface and we call it as a Gaussian surface. In free space equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge enclosed within the surface. So let us consider positive Q charge is there and we will imagine a surface and let that surface is imaginary. It's not actual surface, we will imagine this surface and this is known as Gaussian surface or hypothetical surface. So the surface integral of the electric field, the surface integral of the electric field intensity. So let us consider E is the electric field intensity of this S surface. Let the area of surface is S. And this is a closed surface. We imagine here a closed surface. So we will call it as the line integral of the closed surface S over any closed hypothetical surface in free space is equal to 1 by epsilon naught. So the product of E dot ds will equal to, and this is a vector quantity, these two, area vector and this E, is equal to the net charge enclosed within the surface multiply with the 1 by epsilon naught. So according to Gauss theorem, the electric flux phi is equal to the line integral of the closed surface S in free space is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge enclosed within the surface. So this is our Gauss theorem. Gauss theorem will help you to solve the electric flux problems. Okay, so by using this Gauss theorem, we'll find so many problems that is based on the electric flux. So now we will prove this Gauss theorem. To derive the Gauss theorem, we need to draw a Gaussian surface. So some properties are there for Gaussian surface. First one is that it should be a closed surface. When we have to apply the Gauss theorem, so that time the surface should be closed. This is the first condition. Second one be it should be symmetrical about point charge. If we have a positive Q charge and we want to draw a Gaussian surface, so it should be symmetrical from everywhere. The distance of Q charge, it should be same, symmetrical. Or if you're drawing any cylindrical body, so your charge should be at the center so that the equal distribution should be there. Similarly, the Gauss law is valid even for non-symmetrical surfaces, but we will draw symmetric only. So in your syllabus, we have only the symmetrical problem. So even though it is valid for non-symmetric surfaces, but we will draw symmetric surface to solve our problems. Next one is Gaussian surface should not pass through any point charge. It can pass through a charge distribution. So if you have one positive Q charge, so you cannot pass the Gaussian surface through this charge. This thing is wrong. But if uniform distribution of charge is there, like you have one rod and you want to draw a Gaussian surface, so that time you can draw the Gaussian surface through this charge distribution. Like you want to draw a cylinder, so you can draw the cylinder through this charge distribution, but you cannot pass the Gaussian surface through any point charge. Okay, so these are the conditions of the Gaussian surface. Next we will derive the proof of the Gauss theorem. So in this diagram you can see we have a positive Q charge which is lie at the center of the sphere and the radius of the sphere is r, and we want to find the electric flux at point P. due to this positive Q charge. So let's start. To find the electric flux, we should know the electric field. So here we will consider a small element here. This is a huge surface, so we will take a very small element to find the electric field at P point. So let us consider a very small area element of area. Let the area of this surface is ds. The area is ds. And we know for a closed body, we always draw area vector outward from that closed body. So we will draw here the area vector. So area vector we will draw outward side of the body. So this is the area vector of ds. And we will represent it with the unit vector. So this is the area vector of the ds surface. And now we have to represent the electric field line. So we know for a positive Q charge, electric field lines are outward side. So we will draw electric field line here toward outward side. So E is the electric field line toward outward side. And let R cap represent the direction of electric field. R is a unit vector. Okay. So now we will find the electric field at P point due to the positive Q charge. So electric field at P point. What will the electric field at P point? Due to positive Q charge, we will represent it in the vector form. So Q is the charge, 4 pi epsilon naught, and what is the distance of P point from the positive Q charge? So this distance is R, because R is the radius. So we will take it as R square. And we want to represent it in the vector form, so we will put here unit vector. So this is our equation number 1. Now we have to find the electric flux over the area element, this ds, because the element is very small and we want to find the electric field here. So electric field produced by this positive Q charge at P point will also very small at this area element. So let that field is d phi. So electric flux we want to find. So electric flux will be over the area element, S will be E dot ds. This is the formula for electric flux. Now we have to substitute the value of E from equation 1 and the value of ds. We know N is the unit vector of a ds surface. Ds is your area element and N is the area vector. So we know area vector, we can express area vector is equal to vector divided by its magnitude. So which represent, you can write ds is equal to n cap ds. Okay, so we will substitute this value of E from 1 and this ds value in this equation. So we will get Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R square. R cap is already here and ds from here we will take. So ds value is n cap ds, and here dot is there, so mean dot will also come here. Now in the next step we have to solve this. Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R square, it will remain as it is, and we will solve this term R cap dot n cap. So we know R cap and n cap, this is a dot product. So how will you write the dot product? R AB cos, if you have a dot B, so you write AB cos theta. So in this case A, that is your R, B is your N, and the cos theta. What is theta? Theta is the angle between R cap and n cap. So both are in the same direction, so angle will be 0. And we know the magnitude of the unit vector is 1, so we'll write here 1, and cos 0 also equal to 1. So R dot n is equal to 1 we will write. So we can substitute here 1 and ds. So this is the electric flux at ds area element due to the positive Q charge. Now we have to find the electric flux at whole surface. Earlier we have found it only about the surface ds. Now we will find the electric flux due to the positive Q charge on the whole surface. So what we will do, we will integrate. Okay, so in the next step we will do the integration. We will integrate. So what will the integration of df? We will integrate the previous whole equation, that was q by 4 pi epsilon naught, 4 pi epsilon naught r square and ds. So we will integrate both sides. The integration of d phi will be phi and the constant terms will take outside. So q is the constant, charge is not varying, 4 pi epsilon naught is also constant, and r square. You can see in the previous diagram the distance of r, the sphere distance is, the radius is almost constant. P point we are not changing. So that's why r is also constant. What thing is varying? The surface area is varying, ds, because we have taken only a small area element. Now we have to find the flux at whole surface. So we will integrate the surface. So now what is the integration of ds? We will add all the small portion of this ds surface. So all small portion, after adding we will get a whole surface area. So we can write ds, integration of ds will be equal to the surface area of the sphere. So what is the surface area? 4 pi r square. So this thing will cancel out each other, 4 pi cancel. So you will left with phi is equal to q by epsilon naught. And what is q? Q is the charge inside the surface. So this was our statement of the Gauss theorem. The net flux passing through any closed surface equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge inside the field. So same thing we have proved here. This one is the charge which is inside the closed surface. Now we will discuss a numerical problem based on the electric flux. So let's start. Firstly, we will discuss a very small and easy numerical. Let us consider we have a closed loop, closed surface, and positive Q charge is there, and we want to find electric flux at A point. So what will the electric flux? Phi is equal to whatever the charge inside it, we will take Q by epsilon naught. So this is the electric flux. If we have minus Q charge and positive Q charge both inside it, so net charge inside the surface is 0. So what will the net flux? Plus and minus net charge we need. So that is 0. 0 by epsilon naught. Okay. If there is a plus 3Q and minus 2Q charge inside the surface, so what will the net flux? Net flux will be 3Q minus 2Q. That will be Q by epsilon naught. So in that way we have to find the electric flux. One more problem we will take. We have one Q charge here, another one is 2Q here, and we have to find the flux at P point. So what will the flux at P point? The flux will be Q by epsilon naught. We will consider only that charge which is inside the closed surface. This charge is outside, so we will not consider this charge. So one more application of this Gauss theorem. Now you can see in this diagram we have two surfaces. First one is S1 and the second one is S2. Inside the sphere, S1Q charge is there, and inside the S2 surface, 3Q charge is there. We have to find the electric flux through S1 and S2, and we will take the ratio. So let the flux through S1 means from the first surface we have to find. So what is the charge inside S1 surface? This is your S1. So charge is Q by epsilon naught. Now we have to find S2 surface. So let the flux for S2 surface is phi 2. Now inside the S2 surface, how much charge is there? It is enclosing Q as well as 3Q. So net charge will be Q plus 3Q by epsilon naught. So that is 4Q by epsilon naught. And now you can find the ratio of phi 1 and phi 2. Okay, so I think you can find it very easily. Take the ratio. Okay, I'll take here Q by epsilon naught divide by epsilon by 4Q. Okay, so what will the ratio? That is 1 by 4. So in that way we can find the electric flux and their ratio. Okay students, so this is all for Gauss theorems. In the next topic we will study the application of the Gauss theorem. Thank you students.